welcome to my very condensed now speech on interrupting the spear phishing kill chain. So let's get it going. So as we're going into it, I've got three things I would like you guys to consider. No need to do any group talking on this. I'll save you guys from that. But the first one is, how many phishing attacks have you guys seen in the last month? And what percentage of cyber attacks do you think involve phishing? And finally, what do you think the real cost of a phishing attack is to on a business? So let's get into the statistics. Oh no. As I was saying, let's get into the statistics. First of all, there are 3.4 billion phishing emails that are sent out every single day. And 91% of all cyber attacks involve spear phishing or involve phishing to some extent. And finally, the average cost of a phishing attack in 2023 was $4.88 million. And this is insane. If you guys think about it, you can have as many controls as you want. You can have ISO 27001. You can go all the way up to FedRAMP. But the second some guy in finance thinks that he's got a $1,000 Costco gift card and he opens up that phishing email, all of that goes out the window. So the main things that we can do to prevent against this is training our employees, anticipating what spear phishing attacks we're going to get, and learning how to disrupt those phishing attacks as they arrive. Real quick, just introduce myself. I'm the man behind the reel. My name is Gerrit. My handle is Irish. I'm an application security engineer, and I also work as a security researcher focusing on social engineering. I love badge life, which means that I'm pretty much broke every time I go to a conference, but it's the best part. And believe it or not, I've never caught a real fish, but I do love fishing. And honestly, people just don't respond to my emails anymore. So it is what it is. So today we are going to be talking about the spear phishing kill chain, and I'm going to be presenting it as a red team after action review from a real red team engagement that I conducted earlier this year. And I'm going to close the presentation by showing you how you can go out and interrupt the spear phishing kill chain to prevent attacks against your organization before they even begin, so that we can all become the elite hackers that we strive to be. As a quick side note, this is an authorized red team engagement I'm talking about. I do have approval from the organization, and a lot of the information has been redacted just for privacy of the individuals. So since this is a basic course, I just want to take a second to introduce what the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain is. I'm sure we've all heard of it, but the premise is that there's 7 steps that an attacker has to take in order to conduct an attack against an organization. If we can interrupt any of those steps, we can prevent the future steps from happening and ultimately protect the organization, protect the system from the attack. Spear phishing kill chain is similar, but it's much more simple. We have the research step, the development step, the deception step, and the retrieval step. During research, the attackers will be going out and they'll be looking for unique details about the organization that they're targeting. They're going to be trying to find high-value targets, and a lot of this is going to be based on open source information that they can gather. During the development phase, they'll be putting together a weaponized email that's intended to deceive the recipient into getting some sort of action done on the attacker's behalf. And this is where the attackers are going to choose their end goal. They're going to decide if they want to put malware down. They're going to try to get away with, if they're going to try to get away with data, so on and so forth. During the deception phase, they're going to get the email in front of the right person at the right time who has the right information for them. And they're going to do everything they can to bypass the protections that the security team has put in place. Finally, during the retrieval phase, they're going to be getting their payout, whether that's data, malware, so on and so forth. And they will either dig in to your organization's network, or they'll just get the information that they're going after and they'll get out. So let's look at the kill chain in action. Like I said, this is coming from a red team engagement that I recently conducted. It was targeted against a mid-sized software company with the goal of gaining access to their source code. The steps for this actual engagement included stealing the passwords from an admin or a C-suite, going out and bypassing the MFA as needed using social engineering, accessing and enumerating their environments, and finally exfiltrating their source code. Now, of course, for this presentation, we're going to focus on the first step, which was stealing the password from the admin or the C-suite. So we go into the first step, right? The first step is research. This is a lot of OSINT based. LinkedIn is going to be the best friend of the attacker at this point. They're looking for high-value targets, such as IT admins, operations engineers, VPs, all the way up to C-suites. Next, they're going to be trying to figure out the email addresses they should target, whether there's known emails for the organization that they can find, or a lot of times they end up just guessing them, and looking for the signature block. The key thing about the signature block is pretty much pretexting, right? If you see your company's signature block on an email, you're more likely to accept that it's a real email without giving too much thought about it. Finally, you're going to be looking at company trends. This is, what's the tech stack of the company? What are the company-wide goals? What does the leadership structure look like, and so on and so forth. So here's how the research phase went during this engagement. We went out and we found as many high-level people as we could. We have the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, the CPO, senior engineers, and the IT admins. After we went through, we found all their information on LinkedIn. We then moved into looking at what their emails could be. During this phase, it's really easy. You can just go out and buy the emails for companies from lead generation companies, right? So you could also find them in data breaches from lead generation organizations, or you can just guess them. Honestly, modern business emails are either going to be the first name dot last name, first dot last, or just first last. And then getting the signature block. This is one of the easiest steps. Just reach out to the sales or support team. They're going to send back the signature block because they're trying to get your business. And then a lot of companies just publicly publish their branding pages, so you can just do a little Googling, find out what it looks like. Next, we went out and we found out what the tech is that the company's using. Again, we're back on LinkedIn doing our OSINT during the research phase. We found one of the IT administrators. We found that he or they published that they run Okta administration, that they have AWS IAM, and that they also use Google Workspace. So from that, we can glean that they're probably using Okta SSO at this organization. They're using AWS services of some sort, and they're probably using Gmail. As far as Okta goes, it's really easy to find an Okta page, just like it's really easy to guess what the emails are for the company. It's pretty much going to be company.okta.com, right? So to prove this point, there's Costco's page, there's MGM's page, and there's Disney's page. It doesn't take too much to find them. Going forward, we then moved into looking at their trends. The company trends, again, we're going to find on LinkedIn. People are going to be publishing things about the company that they work for. So here we see they're talking about women in tech. They're talking about a tool they use called Modern Health, and that they get a vacation bonus. So we'll add that to our list. Then during this engagement, we found something really juicy. A lot of information about the company, and then the company badge, which all the security people out here are freaking out, right? Because somebody took the company badge and published it online. So we found out that they're doing a summit. We found out what the employee badge looks like, and we found out some key buzzwords. And this is something that could easily be overlooked. But if you find buzzwords within the organization, like digital transformation, that's what this company was using, or something like hypervision, like you see here on the badge. These are things that the employees have been pretexted by their organization to expect to see in emails because they're the hot words that are going around amongst all the employees. Finally, or rather next, we moved on to the development phase. And again, during development, we're weaponizing our emails. And to weaponize them, we're going to use social engineering. Now, there's 6 tenets of social engineering. I'm ahead of myself. All right, so they're using social engineering. They're creating targeted emails, and they're putting together, or rather deciding what their payloads are going to be. They're either going to be malware, they're going to be a malicious redirect that are going to take the targets through a web page to try to get them to sign in, or they could be doing just business email compromise. So as you guys can see here, this is the login page for the organization I was targeting. The one on the left is theirs, the one on the right is mine. For an attacker, it doesn't take too much. You can just copy the HTML, like find their Okta page, copy the HTML, host it on your own. Pretty simple. So when I had gotten ahead of myself, so you're going to use social engineering in these engagements. And really, social engineering 101, it's the art of manipulation. You're trying to get people to do stuff for you. It runs on 6 principles. There's reciprocity, which is quid pro quo, trading something for something else. Consistency, this is the concept that people are more likely to stick to their gun. So if you ask them to do a small help for you in the beginning, they're more likely to agree to bigger and bigger things as you go on. Social proof, bandwagoning, right? Authority, that's your boss. Liking, people are more likely to help someone who they think is a friendly face. And scarcity. Again, this is like holographic Pokemon cards, right? They're not cards is what brings higher value to them. And finally, I would say social engineering is pretty much just gentleman thievery, right? You're not out there doing anything in the slums, but you're really manipulating people, getting what you want out of them. So here it is in action for our engagement. First of all, I took the fact that they were talking about hypervision. I took the fact that they just came out of a summit, and I put together a hypervision statement that the CEO, right, sent out trying to get people to read. Next, we know that they did vacation bonuses. Everybody loves money. Everybody loves getting bonuses. So people are very likely to reach out and answer that survey. Next, I was feeling a little malicious, so I just put in a security training, see how many people I could get phished, telling them they have to do their security training. And then IT upgrades, right? Everybody loves new tech. Everybody's going to click on the link saying that they're getting new laptops. Next, third step, we moved on to the deception phase. This is getting the target the right email at the right time. It's the delivery phase. you need to send out expected topics. Like in the previous slide, I had said that, there was recently a summit at the company. So I started talking about the summit, sending out those things to the employees. And timing's everything, right? If you're sending stuff about like a Christmas or a holiday party and you're sending that out in the middle of July, people are just going to ignore the email because it's just so far out of the expected. Here's some examples, right? January through March at your traditional business, that's when they're going to be talking about goals, talking about what the company wants to do over the next year. August through October, this is generally when the federal fiscal year comes to an end. So your federal institutions are going to be expecting to receive things related to POs, people trying to spend the rest of their money before they run out of their budget. And again, delivery timing, right? During this engagement, it was following a summit. A lot of the employees had a lot of emails to review, or at least that was our assumption. And so we sent out all the emails at that time. And we tried our best to match the topics that we assume would have been spoken at their summit based off of the things that we saw on LinkedIn. Okay, and the final phase, the retrieval phase, this is when you're getting your payout. You're going to plant malware, steal credentials, steal money, like sending POs to people just trying to get them to pay you, even though you haven't sold anything to them. Or you're going to try to learn secrets. And or maybe even just establish a C2C through your malware. So for our engagement that we ran, our retrieval plan was to steal passwords, right? Going all the way back to the beginning, this is what we were looking for. Through this engagement, we managed to steal 40 of the passwords from the company. And we had 0 reported thefts. So of all the people who we targeted, all the VPs, nobody even knew that their password had been stolen. So let's talk about, from a blue team side, what it looks like to disrupt this phishing kill chain now that we have a very quick introduction to what it is. So during the research phase, you need to teach your people what operational security is. Teach them not to publish things about the company. Don't put the company badge online. Tell them that loose lips sink ships. And again, do training for them. To disrupt the development phase, you want to buy similar FQDNs, right? So I recommend that everybody buys company.okta.com because it's way too easy for an attacker to just go buy it without that period in between. And did for engagement, and nobody knew they weren't on the legit web page because even a cursory glance up at the URL, it looks close enough. And again, train your employees. During the deception phase, try to have as many, well-programmed anti-phishing tools as you can so that if they've gotten through research and they develop the email, it's going to get blocked by your email service before the employees are able to see it. And you need to run your own phishing campaigns, and you need to run legitimate phishing campaigns that look like real phishing engagements. I've been with companies where they just send the same email every single time, like every couple months. And then I'm shocked when people get phished by the same email that's always getting sent out, right? But I'm also shocked that they think that that's going to be enough to prepare their employees. And like I said, you need to make them real. You need to make them seem like what phishing's actually going to be like. And you need to train employees on what a deceptive email is going to appear to be. Next, on retrieval, XDR is great. That's the one I always advocate for just because it's the modern approach. So if there's any malware dropped on the system, you've got a way to respond to it. Address filtering, another really good one to present retrieval. And again, training. So you guys have probably seen training, right? I mean, we all know this. The best way to prevent social engineering attacks, which includes phishing, is to train your employees. Train them not to post things online. Train them to look out for the key indicators of phishing, and train them to report when they think their password has been stolen. So again, this is how you prevent it. It's training, anticipation, and disruption. Thank you guys for coming out to this super speed talk. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of SAINTCON. Thank you.